French with Sanvi, and I'm Sanvi and I'll be helping you to learn the basics of French. So let's hop in the world of French and get started. Bonjour, and this is the first session of French with me, which is Sanvi. So today's learning objective is, today we'll only focus about France and what it is famous for. About France. So France is often called hexagon because of its shape. So the map of France resembles a hexagon, and that's the reason why they call France as hexagon. And France occupies a favorable position in the European continent between the Mediterranean Sea and English Channel. And as you all know, Paris is the capital of France. Paris is also known as La Ville Lumière, which is the city of lights, and it is called La Ville Lumière because it was the first one to use gas streetlights, and also because of its role during the Age of Enlightenment. And France is famous for its museums, landmarks, wine, cheese, fashion, and many more things. So here is a picture of the map of France, and as you can see, it somewhat looks like a hexagon, and that's why it is called hexagon, because of its shape. And this is the beautiful city of Paris, and as you can see, a city lights up with lights, and that's the reason why they call it La Ville Lumière. And this is the Eiffel Tower, and you know this monument, it's quite famous and is a seven wonder, and it is called the Tour Eiffel in French. And this is the Louvre Museum. It is called the Louvre in French, and millions of people visit this museum. This museum also has the famous painting Mona Lisa. This is the famous wine of France, the famous cheese, and fashion. Fact time. So here I have a very interesting fact you might have not known. So did you know the Eiffel Tower in Paris was once unappreciated, named after the tower engineer Gustave Eiffel? The Eiffel Tower received a lot of backlash and bad comments when it was first built. It became the tourist attraction, and people started to give more importance to the monument. So who would have known that the Eiffel Tower was once unappreciated? And I guess the tower engineer Gustave Eiffel might be so happy seeing that the Eiffel Tower is so appreciated and is a tourist attraction. So French cheese for perfume, bread for fashion, and wine. So now we will be learning about the famous things of France, which is cheese, perfume, bread, and fashion and wine. Fromage, which is cheese. So here in France, cheese is a very serious business. It is one of the country's largest exports. And French cheeses are quite soft and rind washed. One of the cheeses which are quite soft and rind washed is Camembert, and it is yellowish on the outside and white on the inside. And examples of French cheese are Brie, Roquefort, and Gruyere. Parfum, which is perfume. So France has very well scented perfume, and there's a perfume industry in France, and the perfumes created there have very well scents which make them famous. So the examples of French perfume are Chanel, Dior, and Yves Saint Laurent. Then pain. Pain means bread. famous in France, and most importantly, French bread can only contain flour, salt, yeast, water, and water. No preservatives or additives allowed. So the French bread is kind of very, very healthy because it does not include any preservatives or additives. And baguette is the most famous bread. It is a long, thin loaf of bread made with lean dough. It is distinguishable by its length and crisp crust. Example of one famous bread of France is pain de campagne. Fashion, which is fashion. Fashion in France is a very important subject in the culture and country's social life, as well being an important part of its economy. Fashion, design and production became prominent in France since 15th century. So the fashion in France is quite unique and amazing. So France is famous for its fashion. Vin, which is wine. So French wine is produced throughout France in quantities between 50 to 60 million hectoliter per year, or 7 to 8 billion bottles. France is one of the largest wine producers, along with Italian, Spanish, and American wine producing countries. Isn't that amazing? 50 to 60 million hectoliters per year? I guess that's too much of wine. And examples of famous French wine are Bordeaux and Bourgogne. So here I have a photo of the famous cheese, which is Camembert. As you can see, it is kind of yellowish in the outside and kind of whitish in the inside. And this is one perfume, French perfume, which is Chanel. As you can see, this is baguette, a pain, a famous bread of France. And this is one famous fashion designer whose name is Coco Chanel. And this is some of her fashion designs. And this is a famous wine of France. As you can see, this is the Bordeaux wine. Riddle time. So I'll be asking a riddle. So here, I was a gift from French, and I stand tall on an island. I welcome visitors with a strong hand in the sky. I may be green, but I am dressed in copper from head to toe. An iconic piece of New York history with a famous face you definitely know. Who am I? I guess some of you might have already guessed it. But the people who have not guessed it, here's the answer. Answer is Statue of Liberty. So, did you know that Statue of Liberty was a gift from French? And there's a small Statue of Liberty in France too. So, now we'll be learning the important things of France. The important things of France are the money of France, l'euro, the French flag, the drapeau français, and the Republic Day of France, which is la fête nationale. L'euro. L'euro is the money of France. La monnaie européenne est l'euro, which means the currency of France is euro. France is one of the members of the European Union and one of 23 countries in the region that uses euro as its national currency. So there is a European Union which includes the countries that use euro as its national currency, and France is one of the 23 countries. And the French franc were used before euro became the national currency of France. The French franc were replaced by euro coins in 2002. So there were French francs which were used before euro became the national currency, and in the 2002 euro coins became the national currency. So here's a picture of a 1 euro coin, and here is the sign of euro. Le drapeau français, which is the flag of France. Le drapeau français est le bleu, blanc, rouge, which means the French flag is blue, white and red. France is a very ancient nation. Needless to say, the flag of France has taken different forms over the country depending on who ruled the country. So, the flag of France hasn't been the same all over. It has been changing from different centuries depending on who ruled the country. The French flag were in the opposite order when they were first adopted in 1790. Blue used to be on the right and red used to be on the left. In 1794, the colors were reversed to the order we find in the modern French flag. So this is the modern French flag, and this is the French flag that was first adopted in 1719. As you can see, the blue is on the right and the red is on the left, but in the modern flag over here, you can see the blue is on the left and the red is on the right. La Fête Nationale, which is the Republic Day of France. La Fête Nationale est le 14 juillet, which means the Republic Day of France is on 14 July. La Fête Nationale is also called Bastille Day by the English-speaking countries. So La Fête Nationale is called La Fête Nationale in France, but it is called Bastille Day in other countries which speak English. The Champs-Élysées parade takes place and many other activities such as a free tour in the Louvre Museum and a Bastille Day shopping fest. And there's a Champs-Élysées parade which you can see in the photo right here, and there are many activities like a free tour in the Louvre Museum. Wow, isn't that amazing? A free tour in the Louvre Museum which you need to stay there for hours to take one ticket. And there's a Bastille Day shopping fest in which you can find many famous things of France and buy whatever you want. So now we'll be learning about the monuments of France. Let's learn about the well-known attractions of France. La Tour Eiffel, which is also called Eiffel Tower, and I guess you all know about the Eiffel Tower. And over here, au Parc du Champ de Mars à Paris, which means it is located in the Parc du Champ de Mars in Paris. L'Arc de Triomphe, Route des Champs-Élysées à Paris. So it is located at the top of the Champs-Élysées in Paris. Notre Dame. So Notre Dame is a church and it is dans l'île de la cité Paris. It means in the island of the city Paris. Le Louvre, au centre de Paris, in the center of Paris. Les Arènes de l'Air. So amphitheater Romain means Roman amphitheater. Au sud de la France à Ars, in the south of France in Ars. Le Château de Versailles, à Versailles près de Paris, in Versailles near Paris. So this is a photo of La Tour Eiffel, and you all might have known this amazing monument. And this is l'Arc de Triomphe, and Napoleon, a ruler in France, built this in the memory of all the soldiers who died in war. And this is the Notre Dame, and it is a church. Recently it was burned down, but it is rebuilt. This is the Louvre Museum. This is Les Arts des Arènes, which is a Roman amphitheater. And this is Le Chateau Versailles, which is located in Versailles. So in the next class, we will be learning first French alphabets, and second French numbers 1 to 10 and 1 to 20. Merci. Thank you. Have a great day.